Mago section 105. Mago number 105. Mago. Again with the ginseng and gorilla oil. 2 puffs of Mago. And just wanting to meditate. I also had some bread. Just that. But what was I inspired to sit down and write? And there's this thing that happened where I was victimized. And it's been bothering me for almost a year, 8, 9, 10 months now. And it's keeping me locked in the past. That's the problem. I want to move forward, but at the same time, I was victimized and I kept silent about it. And I kept silent about it because it's like, I want to keep the peace. I don't want to get involved in just a mudslinging fest. I was victimized by someone. But I'm no saint either, so call it even. Just move forward in my life. But this someone is not just a random, it's someone of an upper class that I'd never really realized existed. It was like an upper class that was hidden. And do you know who I'm talking about? There's an upper class of everyone, pretty much, above 99% of the world. They are above us. They have political powers, corporate powers, banking powers, media powers, government powers, secret government powers. Do you know who I'm talking about so far? And I was naive. I really was naive. Not naive that they were the ones at the top. And when I say top, I don't mean top, good top. I mean the most evil satanic people who have taken control of the world. There's a top layer of any politician. I hate Trump. I hate this country president. I hate that country. These are all just puppets, actors. There's a layer on top controlling all of them, telling them exactly what to say, think, and do, and what to decide for all the governments to do. And I have been aware since the Bitcoin days, when you're seeing how evil the banks are, and then you can't help but also see who owns all the banks or who has been since the beginning of banking, the creators and operators of banks. People are like, oh, you made us only work in banking. We were forced to work in banking. You guys created banking. You can't be forced to work in banking when you created it. Right? That's like, it's like if you invent a poison to kill all the food, like, right? Or you invented a poison to put in all the food to kill us. And that's your job for generations, is to give us sicknesses and medical issues so that you can make more money off of us. You can't say you're forced to work in that. Oh, they didn't let us have other nice jobs. We had to work in pesticides and agrotoxins. That was all that was forced on us. Shut up. No one's forced. Stop being a victim. It's fucking bullshit. So no, they didn't get forced into baking. They created game, and it's their tool to control us, right? We're all controlled by money. We're all enslaved to money. And money hasn't been around forever. It's only 3,000 years old. Less than that. At best, I mean, it may have existed in pockets, but the international banking system between different empires, countries, states, whatever, has always been these people. What shall we call these people? We call them small, we'll call them tengu. It's a Japanese word. And I'm plead not having the best accent with it so that you don't know exactly. Anyways, tengu people. They also fighting a war, but it's only a war because they call it a war. It's actually just colonization and genocide that they've been kind of just in fact, it's kind of like just a 70-year ongoing reason to test or build, engineer, and test more and more advanced weapons for war. It's like a whole made up just battlefield. Put two cults, religious cults, in one small spot and write up a whole story that it's a holy land that these two have to fight for. And we'll use that just to, every few years, pretty much, there's been like 20 wars there. Or, 20 big military wars, which they sign a peace agreement. And then there's more injustice, abuse, supremacy, racial supremacy. So eventually there's going to be another war. They've made it all up. People don't realize that these religions are all fake. And that's the only way to end that, because it's breeding It's one religion breeding babies as an act of resistance against another religion. They just out baby each other. And part of that out babying, making lots of babies, is killing other babies, killing the other babies. So it's a baby war. Make baby and kill baby. That's what's going on. All right. So it's the most evil of evils on this planet that we all serve. And the evils, they create a most privileged regular people. Who were your parents? And do you practice these strange cult rituals, just random rituals like don't mix cheese and chicken, don't work on this day, and just nonsense, just to make them different from everyone else. They have to do everything weird and different, and so it's a cult, right? That's what cults do. They make you do little weird different things, just to enforce. Almost every day they have to do weird things, whatever, or they have to act a certain way. Be really good at systems, and really good at lying. Lawyers, they like lawyers because the court system is designed for them. Anyways, back to my story. I had let someone from the Israel, someone from Is Not Real. I had let someone from Is Not Real, an Ashkenazi, like blonde hair, blue eyed, clearly like Polish, German, Ashkenazi. I had let an Ashkenazi, white, European, Jewish supremacist from Israel I tried to see what living 1 month with that person would be like. And I was naive. I was like, or a big proportion of people from that country, blah, 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 of that religion are, supremacists, think they're better. But not all. This guy wants to live, he's begging me to live, to stay in my house for a little while, the rooms. And so we had conversations earlier, like a year or two before, and he didn't want to have too much with me, but we talked about, like, I don't remember. But I offered just kindness and friendship to him. Kindness and friendship. And I was like, okay, I'll offer kindness and friendship to him. He must be one of the good ones, right? Because it's the argument is not all, and it's like, okay, I know not all, but we're just talking about when a large percentage, all right? So he came this day, and I was like, okay, he's got to be one of the good ones. And I do want to learn his, what do you call it? His tribe. We'll call it his tribe. His tribe that controls the world right now. I wanted to learn more why everyone is, so deeply in the cult, right? Like with Christians, I'll be like trying to question them to make them think in ways they've never been questioned, to try to awaken them. But why is that not possible with the Tengu people? Why is that not possible with them? The juicies, the apple juices. Why is it not possible to make apple juices question their reality or their religion? Like a lot of atheists are questioning Christianity as ex-Christians. A lot of well, there's not a lot of Muslims that are ex-Muslims, because apparently that could mean death, I guess, according to strict, brutal disciplinary laws. But yeah, all of them are cults, just created to have war and because they all enslave women and us who are not worshiping the right God. The idea of worshiping the right God as the one and only, that's a completely made up thing to get people to fight, right? It's not just, it's not good enough to say God comes in many forms, right? It's not enough to say God is a sunset, God is a perfect wave, God is a beautiful kitten, God is a newborn baby, God is everything. There are these cults that say, no, God is this, and God is also this. So if you don't think God is, if you don't recognize and believe what God is, according to this book, this cult, then you are, you make God angry, you make God feel jealous. And so that's a roundabout, clever way, legal loophole, to basically say everyone outside of our cult is an enemy we need to kill. They make God angry, they're going to hell. They are using our earth. They have maybe better resources or lands or wealth than us, better homes. How can this be? We must colonize, settle, enslave, and genocide them. Genocide, or have them work as our slaves. And it's not one or the other. It's more like genocide 60% of us and have us be slaves for the compliant 40% that are okay with us being the slave masters to their lives. And I hate it. But my parents, my sister, this white dude that lives here that works hard, try to be my friend, but I'm so that they are the type of people that are willing to be slaves to evil people. Their priority is just raise their kid to go to school and to their system, to go to their schools, to go to their universities, to go to their corporate jobs, all of these things that they own, and be a slave to that. And it's like, I can't, at this point, I can't even trust you guys. You're slaves, you work for them. You're an op. Either you're reporting back to them to like me and then control me, or you're actively working as their brainwashing apparatus, their brain control, their propaganda outlets. Like, let's have all of the people close to Jeff convincing him that the evil people are not so evil. Yeah. And I'm watching them get poisoned by them. Evil people poison my friends and family. I'm watching the evil people poison my friends and family, and then having my friends and family tell me I'm the one causing them unhealthy stress by bringing up that they poisoned. Like, it's the messenger that's the problem. It's not the message. I'm bringing you the message. I'm a mirror showing you that you're being poisoned, and that is turned around and they say I'm the one who's stressing and poisoning them. They just want to be head in the sands. Ignore it. Just ignoring it to God. Ignore it and pray to God, protect me from being poisoned too much. That's their crazy God. It's pretty clever. I have them. Satan is pretty clever. And yeah, these are you can call them Satan's chosen ones. Synagogue of Satan. So yeah, this is something that I've not figured out what to do. This story that I'm sitting on. I can't go forward in my life. It feels like I can't go forward in my life because clinging onto this victimhood. I've been victimized, and that keeps me in the past. To 1 year ago. Stuck in the past. And that's causing me suffering. Or it's keeping me out of the present. That's it. Yeah. I'm suffering being in the present because of the suffering and victimization that I experienced a year ago. And it wasn't even that much. It wasn't that much of a victimization. That's the big reason why I haven't really gone very public with this. Like, because the level victimize people, the level that they victimize, that's the level. They're trying to intimidate the rest of us. They say, we have the power, the ability, the will to completely kill anyone. Innocent bees will kill them. And show that we can force everyone to be okay with it. And that's the naivety I was unaware of. I was unaware that they were in that much power. I always thought, we could, if we all just, not even all, just if enough of us woke up, we could escape, right? Equalize power equally more instead of it being in their hands, the synagogue of Satan. So yeah, but at the same time, like, I can see him doing this to someone else. I can see him bringing a bunch of his friends who are going to do it a lot to everyone. That's the message. That's the root of it. They're doing it. They're doing it in the Middle East. They're doing it in New York City. They're doing it in Miami. They're doing it in LA, in San Francisco, the islands, the Epstein Island, Hawaii. Zuckerberg is like all of Hawaii now. He's a burg, synagogue of Satan. They're literally building their own let's call it, underground, giant, luxurious, everything from movie theaters to electric cars, all underground. And they're all gonna have all the servants. Anyways, I was just visioning. I tend to get visions that come true. I call myself a prophet. And it's not like I'm holy and God wants to share with me holy truths only because I'm holy enough to receive them. No, that's not what a fucking prophet is. A prophet is someone that just meditates enough to see the higher perspective. Who leaves the ground level view of things and just climbs up a mountainside and looks down and sees what's going on all at once. Sees all the puzzle pieces. Anyways, that's what I see. I see him inviting all his friends that are from the worst, most evil, who are pretty much completely manipulated, soulless zombies for this cult. And they all serve the money rulers. The people who print money for themselves. and force us to struggle to make money and save wealth. They print money to make it more difficult for us to be able to make money and save wealth. The whole money system creates an endless increase of costs for everything. Even though technology that humans create makes things cheaper. Right? The toilet paper that we have in 1945 required a factory of 3,000 people in 1945. Several factories of 3,000 people per company that was selling toilet paper. And then with the robots, you need like 7 people. All right, so it's a whole lot less. A roll of toilet paper should be $1. And then over time, 90 cents, 80 cents, until, because it's all being done by robots now, it should only be like 5 cents a roll. Instead, it keeps going up to $2, $3 a roll. That's how they enslave us. And the whole time they own more and more. And they create house over inflation prices. They make one generation very rich to sell their home. To a corporation. Then that leaves their kids completely unable to buy a home because the price has doubled. So your kids become renters. Do you get how that works? Turning houses into investment trading, like stocks. Our parents, the boomer generation, preys on their greed. When the home they had bought for $2,000 in 1990 is $1.4 million today, the parents are like, oh yeah, can't refuse that. Sell it for 1.4 to Blackstone or any other Tengu investment hedge fund firm, whatever financial behemoth that they own, buys up all these homes. All the prices on the homes, they're unaffordable to the younger generation. The younger generation will never own a home at that point, and they have to rent, and the rent goes up and up, and we're all slaves. This is we're left with. And And most of the people in Brazil, they're so pacifist. They just want to party and watch the sunrise and sunset. And they're pretty much okay with being slaves. And they're okay with being completely poor, struggling to pay rent. They're okay with living surrounded by violence and crime. They're okay with never any potential to save up wealth and own a home. They're okay with being a slave, a full-on slave. Anyway, I feel like I just have to say no. I have to try to wake people up. I have to say, like, everybody, this is an Israeli settler colonizer that tried to colonize my home, and now he's gonna make all these like tourism, and he's gonna try to make all this video content inviting Israelis to come colonize this land, turn everyone into their renters, and anyone who resists them is going to be, we're going to play dirty with them, and anyone who helps them, they can make money. Just like the boomer generation did. Boomer generation helped them and sold us all out. The boomer generation got bribed to sell all future generations of the world, to sell us out to small hat Jewish supremacist terrorists that now control real estate, banking, finance, media, governments, intelligence agencies, and nearly all leaders and CEOs of the world. And I want to wake up a small town of people to say, hey, let this one guy bring all the Israelis here. It's gonna create a huge apartheid system where drunk Israeli IDF soldiers come vacation here and grape kids, abuse people, and then tell them they can do whatever they want because they're God's chosen ones. Crap bullshit. And there's so many Catholics and Christians here, they'll probably like, yeah, our Bible says it. I was talking when trying to evangelize in the plaza, like just trying to talk to her, and she would be like, but it says here, like, just so honored. And so now you have all these people that just believe the word is the word of God is the God. They believe literally Noah's flood literally flooded the entire world. All the mountains, 2 kilometers of water got dumped on the planet and magically disappeared. Anyways, they'll probably go along with, yeah, it says here, Bible, Jews are God's chosen one. All right. We're slaves to y'all. We'll try to be good slaves. Hopefully, we'd be a middle class good slave. Even though there'll probably be, 99 out of us will be poor, and then 1% will be medium class, middle class, good slaves. So yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do is awaken people to what's going to happen to Parakuru. It's already happened in Bahia. I saw videos of that. And I think already Brazilians are like really fed up with them. One was like almost arrested there, an IDF. And of course, they own things, so they were able to get him to escape, just like they did with the pedo in Vegas. Got caught trying to rape a child, and they let him go back to Israel. But yeah, I want to warn people that this guy is an Israeli colonizer, and he's going to bring other Israeli colonizers here. And everyone that is helping him do that, you're going to see the most hateful race people who think everyone else should be slaves. Anyways, how do I know this? Why do I say he's a colonizer, white Jewish supremacist? Why do I say that? I mean, at first, he seemed cool. I think it's a good question to wonder what they think about. I think they fear us. I think they fear Asians because we don't believe in any of their religions that they created. It's easier for them to control the Christians. It's easier for them to control Muslims because they're just the offspring that they helped curate. Like it was like an escape, but they also infiltrated and controlled that escape. Do you see what I'm saying? There were people that who were awakening to Synagogue of Satan being a bunch of bullshit. And then they were ready for that, and they made Christianity to reveal some of the truth, but also plant a big lie, which is worship the one and only God. It changed from God to Jesus. But it's the same thing. Worship the one and only God. That means you're the true children of God, basically, and everyone else are animals that need to be conquered, enslaved, and genocided. And then a little bit after that came Christianity Part 2, which is Muhammad is their Jesus. They thought Jesus was just a regular prophet and Muhammad was just another prophet. So it's just but it was basically just an extra version in order to cause conflicts against the first, right? So first they create Christianity for the discontent people, and then afraid that these discontent people will wake up and try to destroy the Tengu people. They created a second version of Christianity, which is Islam. And then they have those two fight against each other just constantly. And then they make money off fighting forever. So anyways, how did I find out? Anyways, I brought him in. I was like, okay, I want to know more about his culture, religion, and stuff. I just offer him my friendship. I was at the time in a spiritual mode of love has certain powers to awaken people. Like, there's a lot of turn the other cheek, peacefulness, pacifism, violence, both in Buddhism and Christianity. And at this point, I think I was brainwashed by that. I think it's a lot of brainwashing. I think it's they've infiltrated Buddhism as well. They've infiltrated Christianity, as I said before. Make that people believe in nonviolence and they believe in not fighting, instead to just love, even if tortured, raped, and killed. To be a martyr, essentially, is worshipped. To allow to assassinate while we peacefully march, they assassinate, right? Well, why don't we all get together and assassinate them? No, Jesus doesn't do that. Buddha doesn't do that. Right? Asians don't have that for the most part. That type of Buddhism. Or Asians retain the wisdom that all animals all have to have a fight in them. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about a vicious carnivore crocodile or a tiger or a bird, right? Or a frog. Everything has a fight in them. Most frogs, I guess, have a fight. I don't know if all frogs. So yeah, he was begging me to. I really didn't want to. But then I was like, maybe this is a chance for me to learn more about unconditional love. Like maybe if unconditional love could create a beautiful story here, right? And so I let him take the small kitchen bedroom, and I had him just pay like $100 something a month, $110 a month, something ridiculously small. first month was the only issue was he didn't pay rent. Like I had to like bug him for rent, and finally he paid it like a couple weeks late. Like $110. Like he has all this money. He's buying all this stuff, buying guitars, buying weed, buying all this stuff, and he can't pay me rent. It was like a weird dynamic. The only weird first dynamic I saw the first month, and I thought he would only stay for like 3 or 4 weeks at max. So it was like the first month came, and it was like, are you planning to stay longer term? Because if you are, you really should pay rent that I asked you to pay. Because yeah, it's just weird. And I was being friendly with him. I was invited to hang out with my friends. I was taking him uh, to eat with me when we had dinner. He wanted to eat together, and so whenever I would go downtown to eat, he was like, "Let me come home." And so we would hang out. Felt like I didn't notice anything too often. I kept noticing spiritual signs. I noticed small details, but I know to other people they don't mean anything. But it's extremely small details. But I was noticing little small details that really bothered me. But for the most part, I'm just trying to show unconditional love and appreciate everyone, right? Like I'm in this spiritual mode of just good vibes, seeing the best in everyone, and being a good person to everyone, right? Being Christly, I guess, Christ-like. And at this point, I'm wondering if that was, if that's brainwashing that I still have. But or all these little flags that normally I'm able to red flag on people. Um, so, but the big red flag was he wasn't paying the rent. He's in the room and whatever. And then the second, it was like, I think everything was just mask off. I think the first month he was like kind of being his mask on of being a decent, friendly guy. It all just like lots of little things. He was like, it was just a mess. He always ordered delivery, and they deliver it all in like tons of plastic bags and styrofoam cartons and lids and silverware and bottle of coconut water, that really bugged me. That was a red flag. He would order coconut water that comes in a plastic bottle. They would rebottle it out of the coconut into the plastic bottle, which is such a mental shithead move. Like, if you don't get angry at that, and you're constantly ordering every day, anyways, like 30 of those bottles were thrown across my yard. The wind picks it up, I'm sure, a little bit, throws it about, but like, throw it away. Throw your trash away. You're littering. Sure, right here. This is a spiritual meditation house that you're trashing. Anyways, he was acting like a little punk anytime I would ask him to like not throw stuff all over the yard. Like, and it was really like his real true reaction. And it was something he'd been trying to hide before, but now it's I would see it come out. One of the ways he would deal with it was like interrupting me before I can finish it. He'd be like, all right. Who? Sorry, I did a little too hard. He'd be like, all right, okay, yeah. That like, instead of being like, oh yeah, sure, sorry, I'll do that. It was very much like not letting me finish the sentence. I was like, hey, there's a lot of bottles. Yeah. All right. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? First of all. it was like a weird dynamic, and he was doing a lot of shithead things. Like it's a nature house, and he's like destroying nature. He's like constantly parking his motorcycle right in the middle of the like garden grass area. There's like a lot of area on the side where you can park all the cars and motorcycles, and he has to drive up right into the middle of the grass and step off the bike onto grass, like he didn't want to step onto dirt. And I'm like, dude, you're killing all the. And I'm the one watering it because it's kind of like I'm saving money, and I'm also like enjoying it as like my meditation in the morning. And I'm watering the grass every day, and he's ruining it every day. And I think all me doing the work. I'm realizing now. Shit. I'm realizing now. He comes from a culture that doesn't work. Like, well, he hangs out with his family, him and his brother and sister might have jobs like professional, corporate, technology, software company, normal jobs. But those are jobs that they got out of nepotism connections, right? They're not actually like creative, intelligent, valuable people. They're just head count. Basically given a salary, and it's a fake job. My job was a fake job too. There's a lot of people in corporations that are jobs. They just have the credentials and the right race and the right look. So they're actors. They don't know they're actors either. They think they're saving the planet with the work they're doing. They dress up in a suit and they believe they're doing valuable work for the company. But they're just there because they look the part, sound the part, and keep up the whole charade. Anyways, but I'm just now realizing he saw me watering the grass every morning. And from there, started to think, oh, he's just a manager, like a housekeeper, like a house sitter, housekeeper. And when I'm like, hey, da 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 da, he's like, you don't get to talk to me like that, you worker. So now I'm wondering, like, maybe that's it. Just talking about it, thinking about it out loud now. Maybe he didn't just look down at me as a non-Jewish goyim who could talk down to and just like, I don't know. It's a huge comedy. Because here's the difficult part. He won't talk to me. He didn't want to explain to me the day I had enough of him and I threw him out was when he was like, this is not your house. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? How can you say that? And I literally said to him, is this what Israelis do? Go around to people's houses, staying in their homes, and then telling them it's not their home? That's what Israelis did the first time they landed in Palestine. They begged them for refugee status to stay pretty much in their homes. It's literally stories of this. There's a word for it, the Nakba. And the kind, religious Islam people that offer, travelers, hospitality. These people, like Gigi Hadid's dad, had this happen to him, or grandfather, or whatever. Like she's a famous model from Palestine, apparently, and from a wealthy family even in Palestine. Like, it's not always been poor. It's just been made poor in the last 60, 70 years. But before it, they had a beautiful home, and they're like, oh, we have a beautiful home. We're a wealthy family owning whatever orchards of olives, and we have plenty of spare rooms. Come stay in our spare rooms. And then they stole their house. Like, after a week of staying there, or a month, just like my situation They're staying as like I'm offering my hospitality to you. And then he tried to steal the house, saying it wasn't my house. And then they used the justification, it's the Holy Land, and God in the Bible said it's ours. But here in Brazil, like, this is Brazil. This is not your Holy Land. You've never been here. So I couldn't figure it out. I thought this was just pure, dark, and evil. I'm God's chosen ones. You're not. You have to do what I say. You don't get to control me. I control you. And I was just naive, like, this is not normal. This is not normal. There were no Israelis or Jews where I grew up with in the DC area. Not in my neighborhood. I think they only lived in the city or someplace like Great Falls. But this was the first time really living with an Israeli Jew. And yeah, so beyond that, again, there's lots of little red flags that I don't want to go too much into. But that was the big one when, like, he just all of a sudden, well, this is what he did. He told me, okay, like, I'm going to move out in January. So he came, like, in November or late October. And then stayed November, paid rent extremely late. And the second month was when it started to go really bad. Again, didn't pay rent in time. Really, he's like a month and a half behind on rent because he only paid once. And then this, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of giving him like the your hospitality's worn out, buddy. When you're like dirtying the place, and then being snippy when I'm like, hey, let's clean up all the litter that you've dropped. All yeah. All right. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, your attitude's worn out, especially when it would just get dirty again. Like just like not changing his habits at all. And I even had to get someone else him talk to him because whenever I'd be like, hey, he'd be like, yeah. Okay, don't. Someone else talk to him. Tell him to clean up for me. I got Mario to tell him to clean up for me. Oh, because his aunt was coming to visit house. And I was like, well, this guy's here and he's not cleaning up shit. He's got trash all over the yard. You might tell him to help me out. Tell him to clean up all his trash. That's what I had to do because he's like, don't want to converse. Anyways, after that, he started taking this other bedroom. Like, dude, you pay $100 for one small bedroom. You don't get the big bedroom. And when you ask me, and I will offer you a different price, $2,000 or $400, because this room is 4 times bigger. And that's what I was renting it out to someone else for. So you'll pay that. But that's only agreed to it because you trashing the yard and being like weirdly superior to me in my own home, that's weird. No. So at this point, like, no, you don't get to stay in the other room. And then he just slammed the door in my face. And I'm like, hey, yeah, you need to come or this is going to be a problem. And he's like, whatever, I'm gonna leave. Like he used that as like I should have been like, no, please don't. He was expecting that answer, and I was like, yes, that's what I want. I would like that. And And he's, yeah, I'm gonna leave on January 1st, whatever. And I was like, okay, at least he's leaving. So it's like 12 days, whatever, 10 days. It was like December 20th, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll just let this go for now. I'll just meditate. At the time I was just really doing meditation every day to be love and love and love, unconditional love for the entire world, love, 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 love. And so whatever bullshit people were doing to me, I was just like, love, 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 love. I was just a human doormat at that. And so that's when I learned, yeah, a lot of meditation, Buddhism, prayer, Christianity. It's all escapism a little bit. It's not really something we all need to let our enemies slap us in the face over and over, right? We should be strong so that when they do, it's an easy choice of letting it go and continuing on your own path, or stopping and handling it with violence, physical violence and otherwise, right? There's not just physical violence, there's verbal and other attacks. So what happened after that? 10 days go by, and then January is coming up, and I'm like, tomorrow, right? Yeah, we weren't really talking much at that point. Yeah, I don't want to spend time around people that that don't respect me, right? I allow him to sleep in the expensive bedroom. He's colonized that part of the house, and whatever. I'll wait 10 days, and he'll be gone. And then he was like, I'm not moving out tomorrow. When I asked him, I was like, you're not. Like, no, you are. And he was like, no, I'm gonna move out in like maybe 8 days. I was like, what? Like 8 days? You're gonna pay the 8 days of 2,000 reais divided by 8 days. You're gonna pay that? It's gonna be like 600 reais. And he was like, I'm not paying anything. But this is not your house. That's how I can remember it in slow-mo. It was like, I was like, he goes, I'm not paying anything. Like, he's not looking at me. He's just refusing to like recognize me. I'm not paying anything. This is not your house, bro. And I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What are you fucking talking about? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, I was like, technically I don't own this house. I'm a renter. I've been renting this house. And I offer him as like a friendly friend a place to stay in one of my bedrooms for a little bit. And he would only just pay like basically for utilities, $100 a month for utilities, and the maid also cleaning his room. So it was just $100 a month. And now he's here once in my house, not respecting me at all. And now telling me it's not my house and that he's not going to pay me anymore. And he's just going to stay for 8 days. But the way he sounded, 8 days, it was like maybe 8 days. Like he was just gonna keep saying 8 days, 8 days, 8 days. He didn't want to outright come say, I'm taking this house forever. So instead he was, I'm gonna say 8 days, I don't pay anything, and this is not your house. Bro. I know what to say. I pulled out my camera because I had to get him to say this again so that I could watch the video later and be like, can anyone explain to me what this means? What he thinks? Can anyone explain it? Took out my camera and he got like as if I was a Palestinian who's supposed to be a slave and obedient, as if I was so disobedient. He was like, what are you doing? Bro, what are you doing? Are you filming? Oh my god, are you filming? And then he started calling me a child. And I didn't understand. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, is this? So I asked him again. I was like, is this what Israelis do? Do they? And I was like, holy shit, this is what they did to the Palestinians. And it's true. Like, okay, maybe it's just like one instance that I heard from Gigi Hadid's family and other reports about the Nakba. But it can't be all true. All of them are like this? Only for that land. Okay, the Bible says it's theirs, and they just are so cult believers of that Bible, that Torah or whatever, that says the Holy Land is theirs. But this is Brazil. Here is an Israeli in my house who I offer hospitality to, and now he's refusing to leave and telling me it's not my house anymore. Holy shit, what kind of insanity is this? And so I pulled out the camera and I was filming and I was like, say it again. Is this what you all do? And he was just like, you're such a child. And he refused to talk. He just ran away, slammed the door in my face. And came out, looked like he was ready to fight. But actually he was just going to the bigger room to sleep, still colonizing the other room. So I pulled out the camera again. I'm just like, you can't do this. I don't know what your deal is. You're telling you this is not my house, blah, blah, blah. He refused to talk to me. I come back an hour later. I say, look, I don't have the camera anymore. Let's just talk this out. I don't know where you're coming. Shut up! Shut up, shut up, shut up. Like a child, like really like, he's screaming through the door, slammed the door, turns on the music so loud. Shut up! This is not your house! He kept screaming it through the door. Like insane, like he had gone insane. And I'm like, this guy is insane. He begged me to stay in a room in my house, and now he's telling me it's not my house. What is he talking about? I was like, I pay rent for this house, buddy. And I tried to explain to him, like, do you not understand how renting works? He's never rented a home. He's never rented a place. Or he just rents and then steals homes, and then somehow his Jewish contacts eventually buys and takes it. Like, is this house currently under contract to be bought by connections to their investment firms and all that? And they are going to kick me out within a few months. And so he's just telling me what I don't know. He's not the insane one. I'm just the extremely naive one that he has the power to take any house that he wants. That's his mindset. He can colonize any land that he wants. I'm just an animal, a pest, currently taking care of the house, like a worker. And so I was dismayed. I called up a bunch of friends. I was like, you got to help me with this guy. And Mario is the one who gave this guy my number, so he felt like kind of responsible. So he was like, all right, let me tell him to stay in my posada. And he pretty much gave him a room for free. Place, saying, you know, you don't want to stay there and fighting with him for another how many days. Come stay in my posada with me. It'll be for free. And so he left. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go back to dating. That was such a crazy experience. I'm going to reflect on what I know, everything I have to know about Elise now. I don't know what to do, but I'm kind of still angry about it, so I'm going to just meditate with it until my emotions are dealt with. And then like a week later, I noticed the dog is gone. And sometimes the dog disappears for like a day or two. It's a free dog. When I say free, I mean it's free to roam, right? I don't have a collar on it, but there's a lake behind the house. 2 mosquitoes. Hi. 2 mosquitoes biting the same exact spot. Anyways, there's a lake behind my house. You can explore that. Sometimes it goes far into the wilderness, I guess. I don't know. I see it for a day and then I see it come back. And I feed it because I cook chicken a lot for me and my animals. And so I feed it. It was a dog that apparently rescued. It was like found almost dead near the house. And Mario, kindness of his heart, took it to the vet and had it saved from the brink of death, I guess. It was starving and sick or whatever. And apparently it looked like completely diseased, dead dog when they found it. And it came back and became like a perfectly healthy, plump, fat dog. And Mario moved out soon after. He was trying to adopt a dog. I remember he was posting about it on Instagram. Like, anyone who want to adopt this dog we saved? It's really cute and sweet. So it wasn't really Mario's dog that he wanted to. But he ended up leaving. He left and he took one. There are actually 2 dogs at the time. Mario's German bird, and then this rescue dog. Her name is Bella. And so Mario left, took his dog Bella at the house. Now it's left to me mostly to take care of Bella. And yeah, good to have a dog at the house. So I feed Bella. She doesn't need much, or she doesn't do much. She just sleeps on the porch patio. And oh yeah, this is one of the red flags. As soon as the Israeli arrived, he put a collar on her. And I was like, I didn't know he was claiming. And another red flag is he puts stickers everywhere. And that's also his way to claim everything. I think this is a tactic that they've learned, is to put stickers on everything you own. And in his mind, he owns everything. So he would put stickers all on the refrigerator here, all over the house. And the only reason I didn't take it down is as evidence of how they work. For people in the future, let Israelis put stickers on stuff, all right? Almost like graffiti, but instead of spray painting, tagging it, they're literally putting stickers. It's not like stickers of their name. They're not being that obvious. Of whatever their favorite shoe brand might be, you know, Nike. They have a Nike sticker, put a Nike on it, and at first I was like, okay, he's just really proud of his shopping brand favorite companies, and he wants to, you know, like skaters do that, I guess. Like they'll put everywhere, or whatever skating clothing brand he got it tattooed on himself even. to be in love with a brand is so yuck that you gotta Volcom. He was obsessed with Volcom. He was putting Volcom stickers everywhere, and I was like, this is that's a lot of soullessness to be a worshiper of corporate brands, all right? To be an unpaid advertiser of corporate brands. You're basically a worshiper of Western corporations. Anyways, all these dumb stickers everywhere. And basically also what they're basically marking territory that's theirs. But where was I going with that? Anyways, I think he was marking the dog as soon as he arrived. He did love spending time with the dog. He gave the dog a bath one time with his girlfriend. Girlfriend I didn't like either. She like never looked at me as like a person, like typical white. You ever walk by a crowd of like rich white people, and or there's a clique of rich white people in school or in college or at a club, at a bar, and I don't know how it is for Black people or Latino people or other Asian people or just club staff or just white people that are normal people, not rich and well off, but working class. I don't know if you notice this, but they like literally see through you. Like you're, it's annoying for them to have to see your presence. They would rather see only white people at this, I don't know, we'll call it event. Like say you're at a concert or something. It's like your seats are right next to ours. Like I like to talk to people around me, meet people around me. If I'm at a basketball game or something, we're all cheering for this team together, right? But they're in the clique, and you're below them. You're not the white, rich, blah, blah, blah. That was her attitude. That was his girlfriend, this Polish girl. And that was her attitude in like barely, just sometimes like, oh, hello. Like running into each other in town, but pretty much not seeing me as a full human. More like just an animal, like a street pigeon. Like and it's like for her to come and like she would just stay in that room all the time, even though I'm like clearly not happy with them using the room. They're like I'm some crazy servant who's not being respectful. Anyways, he would call me like a child. He called me a child. And I really didn't understand at that time, what does that mean? Why am I a child for filming what you're saying? This is my home. I can film anyone in my home who's refusing to leave and taking over my home and saying it's not my home. I can, like, I was so flabbergasted, so speechless at that time, but that's what I wanted to say is, he was like, what do you, stop filming, you can't film me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can film whoever I want in my home, who's refusing to leave my home and telling me I'm not able to say this is my home. I'm going to film that craziness. Anyways, left and then came back and stole that dog. And I say stole because he entered my property to take it. I mean, he broke through the fence line and take the dog. And if he had said, hey, I really like the dog, I want to take care of the dog and have the dog come with me to my new place, I would have been like, yeah, you seem to like the dog seems to like you, I'm okay with it, as long as the dog is okay with it, right? That's what I was more thinking about. Like, and at that point, I didn't see any reason why he just took the dog, except that, oh, he's the servant. He still thinks it's not my house. And so he can just break into my house and steal the dog. He doesn't have to ask me anything. And from his point of view, it's like, apparently he asked Mario, just because Mario was the one who rescued the dog, as if it's his dog. And if Mario gets, that's only the permission he needs. So gray area. And so I let that go. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna be the bigger person here. He's already, like, by disrespecting me in my own home, completely treating me like an animal, a pest in my own home. And then he breaks into my property, a few days later, after Mario kicked him out, helped me get him out of my house. A few days later, he came back, stole the dog. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move on, meditate, just try to learn the lessons. And then a week later, the dog escapes him and comes running back home. I'm like, okay, Bella wants to be here. I took that as a message. Bella wants to be here. Took the collar. I was like, get this shit off. You have no right to claim this dog just because you see me as like a lesser human. He shows up and he starts to enter my property again. And I'm like, you can't come into my property, buddy. And I'm like, at this point, you're stealing a dog too, like your dog to steal. You can't come into my property and steal the dog. The dog, you've stolen it, but the dog has escaped you and come back home, and it wants to be home now. And apparently, Israelis think that they can take everything they want, just colonize houses and steal dogs. And I filmed that too. And he had his American friend, just like always. The Israelis always use American white Christian friends to who them and serve them. And his friend used to be my friend. I was like, what's the deal, bro? Why are you helping him? And then he told me some shit. There's two sides to every story. And I was like, you motherfucker, you're saying I did something wrong here? So it's obviously like every red-blooded American helping red-blooded American Zionists. So I don't know that guy anymore. So yeah, him and Scott came and dog, filmed them coming into my property, steal the dog, and then they left. At this point, I'm pretty pissed. And he still has a key to that. And at this point, I'm like, he disrespected me. I shouldn't have to replace the house key. He should just give me back the fucking key. I'm gonna go up to him and tell him to give back the key. And this is after I asked Mario to get the key from him. early on. Mario said he'll give it back. I was like, okay. Mario, the next day, where's the key? Did you get the key? He's like, he said it to me next week. I was like, the fuck? What is this? No. So I went over there to the Posada. He was there. His name is Yoav. Videographer here. No talent hack. And he's making video Israelis here. And I was like, Yoav, give me the key. You don't get to hold on to the key for how much. It's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Why are you keeping it? Why are you being like this weird, spiteful, doing shit against me? You're the one in the wrong here. You're acting like some crazy divorced wife. And he was like, it's in my bag. I was like, well, he's like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he just walks off. He never has to explain anything. Like, I'm asking, like, what is going on? Why are you doing this? He's just like, shh. Like, why is this dog barking? I'm not gonna talk to a dog. Like, that's his attitude. And I'm just like so amazed by. So I'm like, you know, I was like, you know, this is not cool what you're doing, what you're partaking in. The world is wakening up to what you're doing, man. Anyways, he left. He's going surfing. Left with the board. So I was like, okay, his bag. I know where his bag is. He always puts it behind his desk. Front desk. And I take out my camera and I record just to show that I'm taking key. I don't mess with anything in his bag. I grab only my key. And that's it. It's been a year. I see him around town every once in a while. And I open up my camera every time I do. Because he's so camera shy. like I'm a journalist. And Israelis hate journalists. Journalists are like children, apparently. And I didn't understand what he meant by that every time. He's like, you're like a child. And I'm like a child? How am I like a child? What am I? And I kind of figured out, okay, I'm like a child in that, yes, I was extremely naive as to the level of racial superiority and religious superiority that Jews have for themselves, Israeli Jewish settler colonizers have for themselves. I was naive to that level. I thought it was just pure tribalistic hatred and rage for other religions, the Muslim religion. But it's more than that. It's deep, but they are superior, God's chosen ones. And all others people are no different than ants for them to, just pesticide us. They just don't see us as worthy of existing except to be their slaves or servants. And I was naive to that. And when I was shocked by it and reacting like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe what you're saying. I got to film this. It's like, you child, you don't know this is how the world is? And I didn't, or not how the world is, how they are in this world. I didn't know how they're in this world. I didn't know. And it was my first time being around an Israeli colonized settler. And then I knew, okay, this is what they did in Palestine in 1948, whatever. So yeah, it makes sense that you would think the same thing about all races. That's their end goal, is the entire world to be willing, obedient slaves, because they have the media, the propaganda, they have the politicians, they have the governments, they have the corporations, they have the banks, they have the money, they have the religions, the most popular religions, Christianity and Islam. It's all under their control, and Buddhism as well. I was naive to the level. I thought I knew it existed, but I didn't think it was that powerful. But now I see how they are that powerful. So yeah, I am a child. I myself know I'm a child because literally my old slave self died, and I came here and I was reborn. New language, I had to learn everything from scratch, under new eyes, fresh, newly opened eyes. And so, yeah, I'm like a 5-year-old. Offended, like, why are you calling me a child? Why are you calling me a child? And at the same time, he would say, you're so old. Oh, okay, I'm so old. How can I still be a child? How can I still be a 5-year-old? I said, because I died and I'm reborn. I'm Korean Jesus. I am Korean Jesus. I died and I was reborn. And I'm 5 years old. That's my response. Why are you so old? And you're such a child. Why are you so old? How are you so old and such a child? Because I'm Korean Jesus. I died 5 years ago, and now I'm reborn, and I'm only 5 years old. And I'm learning how truly banal and evil and cult-like you are in your belief that God's chosen ones and can take whatever home you want, and you can treat everyone as like animals, like slaves. I was aware that you were working to make that fully possible, but I'm just learning now that it has been the case for decades. My parents were your slaves. All the way from Korea, my grandparents were your slaves. And my parents were indoctrinated and simply crossed the border to the US to be slaves in the US versus slaves in Korea. And yeah, very eye-opening, isn't it? Anyways, I guess in another video I'll post the video of the colonizer and me arguing on camera, where I'm like, how can you say this is not, I don't get it. I don't get what you're thinking. Why don't you talk? Why don't you talk? Why don't you tell me? Door slammed in my face. But who knows? Maybe he won't talk to me. Maybe it's just because he thinks I'm a worker servant. And God's chosen ones don't talk to worker servants. Disobedient worker servant. Anyways, if something happens to me, I am not suicidal at all. Look me in the eyes. I would never, ever kill myself. All right. I love the adventure. I love the suffering. I love it all. Love it. I'm gonna write an incredible story about it all. I'm gonna make this life better than any story I've ever seen, read, or heard. And it is. Like, I'm imagining making a movie or Netflix or whatever series about it, of AI and stuff. And I'm like, this would be better than anything I've ever seen. And I start to doubt that I can make the movie. just because it would be so much better than I've ever seen. But yeah, I have goals movies, stories I want to tell to kids, to my kids, maybe. Will I be a 70-year-old man still making babies? Will I be an 80-year-old father with babies telling my story to? Your dad is so old. But yeah, my dad was Korean Jesus. Or Kung Fu Jesus. Uh-huh. He didn't have kids until he was on his second life. But yeah, definitely never. They may say, "Oh, he's the best." Yeah, back when I was living in the U.S. under the slavery system, and that wasn't depression. That was fucking hatred of the system, right? And I escaped that system, and I wish I had done it 10 years sooner. But definitely still on the run because um, as long as none of us is in the system, none of us are free. Everyone has to get that. As long as someone somewhere is enslaved, then we're all just escaped slaves while slaves enslaved. Do you see what I'm saying? We're all temporarily slaves while there's others still enslaved. Because we're on the run from being put back into slavery with the others. So I'm currently an escaped slave, trying to figure out how to free every other slave. All right. And there's no chance of. There's only them coming after me. Look after this Yoav guy and his family and connections. He did tell Mario, if I do something, then he's going to release the war or something weird. However, Israelis phrase things in biblical ways. Anyways, so he did make a threat before, but I think the reason I'm speaking out is because I can't just hold it. If I hold it in, I'm going to be thinking about, it's like I'm going to feel like I'm a victim of being silenced, right? I was naive to how deeply and dark his evil was. I thought, maybe he's a good one. Maybe he's the exception. Not all Jews and Israelis are deeply in this cult of supremacy. But at the same time, I was a victim because I invited him to stay. I let him stay. I offered him hospitality. I could have said no, nope, nope. But at the time, I wanted to learn if I could unconditionally love what I knew might be a bad option. Kind of had it in my back of my mind that he was a baby killer, that he, served his years in IDF, went to Gaza, murdered babies, and his constant need to play music in the car basically was him hating silence, because I'm sure during moments of silence, he's seen the haunting eyes of the babies and children he's killed. He is on antidepressants, and that was another part that scared me. People that are on these antidepressant prescriptions, I think, are people that do bad things. All right, people that do school shootings and whatnot. Anyways, he I'm not a victim of him. That's what I'm trying to free myself from. I'm imprisoned in the victimhood of such banal, mindless zombie cult beliefs and behaviors. Like, he's just literally an Israeli robot, right? Like, he even doesn't even have the creativity to get a tattoo of true art. He gets creativity of a corporate logo of a skate company. um, his identity is stickers of brands. So he's the consumer robot Israeli. So they're slaves as well, right? We're slaves to them. They're the slave masters. They're slaves to the belief that God made them slave masters. That's the false lie that they are slaves to. Like, it's even at the point where even if they denied it verbally, easy in the past, they've denied it as well. They all deny it. It's in their books, and every time they have to deny it, they will deny it and say, "Ah, yeah, we don't believe we're ex-Jewish." Change their names. They they move countries. But at any point, they always switch back. It's like, come back. We have a country where you can build a beautiful property on the ashes of some Gaza children. Come back, be Jewish again. And people are like, all right, it's better than a working slave. I can just go over there and get free healthcare, free education, free everything, a free home. And I really don't even have to work. Or they'll give me a job somewhere just to be a body. And that's the problem. They always go back. Sometimes they get a little bit too depressed from all the babies they have to kill and all the people they separate themselves from. Because it's got to be lonely, right? When you're looking down on everyone else doesn't want to hang out with you. One by one, you find yourself all alone, struggling to make money in the system when you're all alone, and then you're depressed as well. And they create a country for you. They create a country for you, promise you a home and a nice, job and free everything. And you're like, okay, everyone hates me anyways. I'll go be an Israeli and be hated more. But at least I'll soothe my loneliness by saying, well, I'm God's chosen one, and they're just all pests. So that's what I learned about these people. That's what about this world we live in, with fresh, open eyes. Freshly, newly made, fresh eyes. I have a non-Brazilian person here. That's the first. Everyone notice the difference. Do you see the difference in the comments? If you see comments here, I don't know if you do, but there's comments here. All the Brazilian people are like Japanese, Chino, Korean, Asian. That's the comments one left. Okay. Hoverbird. I don't know what that means. Oi, oi, hoverboard. Oh, someone knows me from foiling. Oh yeah, it's a hoverboard. I'm a hoverboarder. Anyways, I finally got an intelligent person in my chat, and I didn't respond to them. I stopped talking to chat because chat is just all Asian, Chino, Jackie Chan. But here's an actual intelligent Brazilian. I assume it's non-Brazilian. Nathan Grinberg. Uh-oh. Grinberg is a Tengu. Green is a synagogue of Sataner, I think. A Berg name. And they asked me, what do I think about Korean culture becoming more Americanized? That's a good question. I thought about that a lot. I knew it was the case for a long time. Not becoming, it's been the case for a long time. I just didn't know how much. I thought it was like the most Americanized out of the Asian countries. But thinking about it more and more, I realize it's just the 51st state where Korean is the primary language. For 51st state of the US. It's not Americanized, it is America. South Korea is literally owned by America, who's owned by Synagogue of Satan. And Korean culture becoming weaker. It's always been weak. The war destroyed Korean culture. Pretty much my dad's parents, my grandparents were all orphaned. The parents and all their wisdom got destroyed, and you had a bunch of baby and kids running around, not going to school, I mean, they went to school, but American school, Christian school. Damn, you know. They went to school, Christian school, American school. They learned to be Americans in Korea, which involves worshiping money, worshiping wealthy people, believing wealthy people are God's chosen ones, and that poor people are dumb and they hate them. So my parent hates poor people. And so they came to the U.S. Dream was to come to the U.S. because they're worshipers of the U.S. So they came to the U.S. worshiping U.S. For my dad and my mom, it was like, I guess I'm going to like, I don't know, Chengdu or Dubai or you know, Singapore, beautiful cities and streets and cars and everything. And at that time in the 70s and 80s, cars were cheap, rent was cheap, mortgages were cheap. Everything was cheap, 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 and it was easy for them to save money, work, and buy a house, buy a big car, nice car, buy a bigger house. And yeah, that's what I'm a product of, is kind of that middle class privilege that the boomer generation had. my parents' generation, as orphans of the Korean War. What do you think about becoming weaker as well? Yeah, and it's because we're not living our true selves. We're acting American all the time. We're even looking American. We're trying to be white, have American eyes, American nose. It's just pretty much got surgery to be American. I think she even still dyes her hair to be not Asian colored hair. I think she convinced dye my hair blonde. So yeah, we hate ourselves pretty much. The altar of Americanism, and we don't want to have babies with ourselves even. I think and so Koreans are going to go extinct pretty much. There's 30 million Koreans in Korea. In 20 years, there'll be 15 million. In another 20 years, it'll be 8 million. Another 20 years, 2 million. Mm-hmm. That's why Koreans are trying to do last-ditch efforts to increase birth rate in marriages, and they're like, you know what, Brazilians make a lot of babies. Let's bring young Brazilians to Korea, and they can meet a Korean man or woman, get married, and make half Brazilian, half Korean babies. So there's a program right now for 20 to 34. You know, these are people that make babies, right? 37, we don't want them making babies. So 20 to 34-year-olds to go to Korea for a year, or to come to Brazil. So like, come here, meet a Brazilian girl or guy, bring them back to Korea and make babies. That's the idea. So I was thinking, I knew this was coming. I was thinking it was gonna come, being a Korean in Brazil, and knowing it's gonna have to open up some kind of immigration so that they have babies. And I was like, I should open up a company where I give tour guides to Koreans, come, and also give like work opportunities in Korea for Brazilians. So I would like help them be maids or babysitters, right? And help them live in like our pairs, however you say, or pairs. It's a French company that a lot of Brazilians work to be live-in nannies from the U.S. or France, Europe. And you know what? Koreans could do that. Mosquito. Ah, damn it. I'm gonna have to put a mosquito net tonight. Yesterday, I did not sleep. I don't know why there's all of a sudden a bunch of mosquitoes here, because it hasn't been raining. But yeah, so I want to invite you all to come to Brazil, learn about how you can save the rainforest, take lots of information back to Korea about how we need to save the world, save nature from being developed by dummies, right? They're trying to build giant swaths of condominiums instead of building upwards so that you can keep nature undisturbed. That's the big idiocy of Brazilians here, is they build one-story homes. Just clear all the land and just build one-story homes. For some reason, they don't understand elevator technology, living in tall buildings. So yeah. Koreans to come here, think about how to bring Korean food technology, food preservation. People need to eat more fermented foods, vegetables. I mean, don't eat vegetables here. They only eat meats, and these meats you need to clear land for cattle and pork and whatnot. And so they're just burning rainforest left and right to clear land to graze animals. Because people literally sit down and just eat meat every meal they no vegetables at all. Just rice, noodles, and meat. Rice, noodles, and meat. And beans. God damn mosquito. And we need Koreans to help bring vegetables here. Help mushrooms, grow mushrooms. Koreans have the best mushroom farm growing. And bring food prices down so that everyone gardens at home. Korean culture aspects need to come to a lot of it. And it'll help make Brazil better. And one other thing is Koreans enjoy life. They literally study night and day, and they've never learned how to play outside. The idea of surfing in the water to Korean is to blow their minds, because learning how to enjoy nature is something that I think is seriously lacking for Koreans, and that's why there's very high unwillingness to make children, because you're like just a workaholic student. You have no hobbies. Your hobbies are like going to boba tea cafes. It's not like nature involved. So come to Brazil, discover nature, and make lots of babies in Korea by creating beautiful farms. All right, guys, bye-bye.